All right, welcome to Domus IQ by Vates Domus AI. Today in this video, we're going to talk about MLSGPT, which is a feature we're releasing in January of 2026, so it's coming up on us pretty quick. So let's go ahead and get into it. So we're going to start with MLSGPT, and you'll see that right off the bat, you got a zip code search and a map search. So we're going to enter a zip code, and you'll see that what it does is pull back the top 100 listings for that zip code. Depending on the size of the city, though, because if you're looking at New York, a zip code search is going to be pretty harsh because you could end up with several thousand listings in that area. So we've offered map search so you can narrow down a region. Because if I were moving to New York, I would be interested in specific regions of New York, as your buyer may be as well. So we're going to focus on one area of New York called Hudson Yards. And submit that, and we're going to get back about 65 properties sorted by price. So we're going to go ahead and select the first 10 just out of ease for the video and just make the selection. And you can select up to 10 of these properties as you go through here. Got 8, 9, 10 properties. And the other thing you can do if you're curious, I think those are pending, so they may not be interesting, but we'll look at them anyway. The other thing you can do on this page is click on the MLS ID or the listing ID, and you can get a property card on this property. So you can actually get a vague idea of what's going on. And we do have a generate CMA. We'll get into that in a completely separate video, but that will open another form so you can create an AI generated CMA where you choose the comparables. So right now we're going to do a chat with 10 properties. And what we're going to start out with is something simple. We're just going to have AI summarize these properties for us. Okay, so AI came back with a nice little summary of all these properties, so you can take a look. And not surprisingly, it's just like looking at the MLS, so you might want to actually get that to narrow it down just a little bit. So let's ask it a question. I have a buyer that is moving from Dallas to New York. They are nervous about the move and about New York City. Which of these properties would be best for them? So let's ask it that question. All right, so that's a good question. It highlights common concern for buyers relocating from different cities to more urban environments. Why Hudson Yard is ideal for a nervous newcomer. So it actually goes into some things that might make Hudson Yard a better place to live. Specific recommendations within Hudson Yard, considerations for the agent, why other properties might be less suitable. So it actually goes into why it picked what it picked. So that's all good. So another question that somebody might have about this particular area is how are the subways? What subway lines serve these properties? So that's a great question. Understanding subway access is crucial. So it actually says that all the condominiums located in 35 Hudson Yard and 15 Hudson Yard are exceptionally well served by the 7 train. And then it goes into what else is nearby that might be what it will give you access to by taking those trains. So that's good. Now, another question that we might have is our buyer has family in Boston. So is there an Amtrak nearby? And absolutely there is. This is an excellent news for your buyer. The properties you've selected are very conveniently located to Moynihan Hall at Penn Station, which is New York's primary hub for Amtrak. So it'll actually give you some information that if you're moving into 445 West 36th Street, that's about a 5 to 7 minute walk. And then from Hudson Yard, it's about a 10 to 15 minute walk. So that's all really good news for our buyer. And let's go ahead and look at one more. We're going to pull up one more. Let's see here. Let's go to zip code search. We're going to test one more for a local community. Morehead City, which is a very small town in eastern North Carolina. We're going to go ahead and choose the top 10 properties here. These are all relatively high-end properties near the waterfront or directly on the waterfront. So let's go ahead and choose our 10. Let's select chat with these properties. And first thing I have is I have a buyer who's interested in the Crystal Coast lifestyle, looking for sound views. Which of these properties would be best? And if the information is in the MLS data, it will actually figure out that it's a sound view because the public remarks or the description actually will call that out as a feature of the home. That's how we actually are able to figure that out. Okay, so we've got back recommendation for your buyer. For a buyer prioritizing explicit sound views, we recommend these specific properties. But you can see that it actually goes into a summary of all the properties that it believes are giving the buyer what they want. So my buyer is new to the Crystal Coast. Can you highlight the annual events that occur in nearby towns that are worth a visit? So let's give that one a shot. Okay, so let's see what it came back with. So we've got major and annual events: North Carolina Seafood Festival, Beaufort Wine and Food Weekend, Emerald Isles St. Patty's Day Festival, the Crystal Coast Boat Show, Beaufort Old Homes Tour. And then fishing tournaments, they've got the Big Rock Blue Marlin tournament, the Ducks Unlimited Atlantic Flyway Decoy in Morehead City, downtown Morehead City Art Walk, Farmers Market, Christmas flotillas and parades, and why these events appeal to the Crystal Coast lifestyle. So this looks really good. Let's do one more question and then we'll wrap up the video. So what I want to do now is take this information and put it in an email to my buyer. I want to include the properties that AI highlighted as well as the events that are going on. Just in the case we have a buyer who's been to the Crystal Coast once or twice and decided to move here but doesn't know a lot about the area. And you'll see we get a pretty good email, and it actually will do it. It's great chatting with you about your vision for the Crystal Coast lifestyle. So it's detailed pretty good. All you got to do is insert the buyer's name, or you can provide it to AI and it will insert it for you. And it goes through the top 4 listings, and then it talks about embracing the Crystal Coast lifestyle's annual events, and then you can put your contact information at the bottom. So I hope you enjoyed the demo. I'll be doing a few more of these for other features in the product, but this is just one to get you started. Thanks for listening.